What's up, CW fans? This is the next episode, episode 5, where we are going to have some fun soldering some additional components as well as getting this bifiller transformer wound up and put into place. So we are on step 14, and let's grab the last toroid available. And they Jonathan puts together this two-colored wire and twists it together to make it easier. Although I think everybody could probably twist wire together. I don't think it's super rocket science. I think it's maybe a couple of twists per inch, so no big deal. But they're two colors, right? One's red and one's like clear copper. And what we need to do, well, let's pull open the instructions. What we're going to do is there's a 12-inch piece of wire, comes pre-twisted, makes it easier, everything's cool. We're going to do 10 turns through the toroid, right? There's going to be two colors. There are some holes marked R and G for red and gold on the L16 spot, which is, let's see if we can get a good spot there. That's where it is right here. L16, you can see the R is up at the top, the G is at the bottom, and then they're going to wind around the toroid and then come out. There's going to be an R and there's going to be a G there. So let's give that a try. So it's 10 turns. So we'll put this through like so. So we went through once, right? So that's one turn. Let's, since we have to do these both at the same time, let's just kind of make sure that it's nice. So that's one. We've got number 2 that we're going through. Trying to make sure that this is nice and the twists kind of stay uniform as we're kind of putting them through. So that's number 3. This will be number 4. Go through and do number 5. There we go. Go through number 6. There is 7. There is 8. Got 2 more. There's number 9. And here's number 10. We did it. All right, cool. So that was not hard at all. So this is kind of acting, this definitely is acting as a transformer. And since we are going to, let's see here. You can kind of see I did it kind of, I don't want to say the wrong way, but I don't think it really matters. The topmost set of wires, it would have been cool if it was kind of like the other way, because those 2 holes are on the left side on that side, and then these 2 holes are on the right side on this side, but I don't think it matters too much. So what we could do is, let's put these through. There we go. I'm going to untwist these. There we go. Perfect. Got those and those. It's just important that we put the red through the red hole and the gold through the gold hole in one set. So we'll do red and gold here. And then what we'll do is, I'll just take my tweezers. I'll put gold in gold here. And I'll put red in red here. Just so. There we go. How's that? Now what I'm going to do is make sure that that's all uniform, and it is, and it looks good. I'm going to move these wires and bend them so that this stays into place, kind of like I did the other ones. Yep, it's not going anywhere. As you can see what I did with the bends. Actually, I'm going to take this one right here, bend it back that way. There we go. All right, now let's solder them on, and remember we need to hold the soldering iron on there long enough so that it burns through the enamel on the wire. So get enough solder on there and just kind of keep it cooking for a minute. I kind of like to move it around just to burn that enamel off. Let's do this one. Come on. Okay, it's about 10 seconds. Let's do these two. And then this one right here. Okay, that one's looking good. Looking good here. Verify that's good. That one's good too. Awesome. So that takes care of that. Lift him up. Take him out. Lift him up. Take him out. Lift him up. Snip him out. And we did it. Let's double check, make sure that the transformer looks good. It does. Everything should be cool with that. And I don't think it makes a difference whether it was wound clockwise or counterclockwise, because if I would have wound it clockwise, it would have ended up nicely in each one of those sets of pads. I was thinking about that as I was doing it. I was thinking, oh, maybe I might get lucky, but I went through the wrong way. But that's okay. I don't think it matters. So we did the bifilar transformer. So it means there's two wires wrapped around, and we've got them installed as so. And we've finished the assembly of the RF boards now. So that's pretty cool. So remember to let the solder stay molten for 10 seconds, trim off the excess, everything's cool. So yeah, we're good to go. All right, now what we're going to do is switch boards. This is going to be the control board. So it looks like we did it. This is pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about this one. We'll talk a little bit later about getting some of the solder flux off of here. Bunch of junk on there, but no big deal. We're gonna just put this aside. And now we have a new board for us, the control board. Let's see what we have in store for us now. Got some surface mount components on here. All right, it wants us to put in the headphone jack and the paddle jack here. So those are pretty easy to identify. There's one, you just go right in. There's the other one. They're both the same. And what I will do is, let's see, how can I adjust this to solder these? I should probably just do one at a time since I'm doing this video. But what I would normally do is probably do something like this. Wrap my finger around. Let's see if I can actually make this work. So what I'll do is get this cooking. Okay, that's gonna hold the first one in. It's amazing how just soldering one piece of these will hold the whole thing in, and it looks good. So what I'm going to do now is put this back on the quad arms. Now I'll just pop the rest of them in. So we'll do this next, this one next, this one after that. Okay, that was the whole first one. That was the headphone one, I think. And this is the CW key. And there we go. All right, so we just got that one done. All of them look good. Next, yep, and they look like that. It looks good. Install the 2x3 right angle header. So here's the right angle header. Let's see what this looks like. There it is. Looks like it needs to kind of, you might need to be careful, see how it kind of rocks like that. So make sure that it's pretty stable. Again, I might do something with holding it. Of course, the only challenge that you have with like holding it with your finger, especially on something like this, is the fact that when you start soldering one of these pins, it's going to get really hot and it burns. Like, ouch. So let's see if the orientation stayed, and it looks good. Perfect. Nice. Okay, I think that's going to be great. So let's grab the soldering iron and knock the rest of them out. There's one. There's two. 3. 4. And whoops, I just tapped 6. Get 5 in there. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've got the right angle header in there now. Let's double check it. Looks good. Solder flowed to the top of the board even, so that's great. So that's nice. That's step 16. We're going to go to install the power switch. All right. So what is the power switch? Is that the power switch? Nope. This looks like a power switch. And it looks like it fits right in there perfectly. Now what I'm going to do is, since these are pretty big holes and we've got a nice orientation there, I'm going to do it from the top. See how that works. To start, at least. Come on, get in there. There we go. Let's do this side now. All right, now let's flip it over and make sure it looks okay down here. It does a little bit. It's probably fine, but just touch it up just to make sure that that's fully looking beautiful. That one's fine. That one's fine. All right, so now we've got step 17 complete. And got the on-off switch in there. Looks good. How about step 18? We're going to throw in this through PCB pin header. So that's 2x11. It's the only other one that's in here. So we're going to pop that in there. So how does this go in here? Looks like the longer part goes through the PCB, right? It says through PCB. This is a male header. It'll be soldered at the top side of the board. The pads are small, so make sure you get a complete solder joint. Don't have any solder bridges, of course. When you solder this, the end opposite of the metal shoulder will go through the board like it's shown in the picture. So there's a shoulder on this top row of pins, which means we want the bottom row of pins to go in. So it goes in just like so. So what we'll need to do is flip it, and we'll get some solder going on these folks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it and do my usual trick. And make sure that, ouch, that hurt. Make sure that this pin header, it can wiggle as you hold it on there. So just make sure it's level and it's on there. So we've got the one solder pin soldered on there, so that's going to hold it pretty decently for us as we roll through the rest. And I'm going to start with this one here. Like that. Let's get this tangle out of this cord here. Almost done. These don't really take that long. Once you get a rhythm going, these pin headers are kind of easy to solder. The hard part is when you're trying to do it on camera and making sure it's oriented so people can see what you're doing. I hope it's in focus. I've been having some problems with focus on this thing. Let's see here, there we go. All right, so I've got all of them in there. So it looks like it might need a little touch. That works. All right, so now we've got the pin header on there. Everything looks good. Everything's straight. And it looks like what I might want to do, I call it bulbing, but some of these kind of seem like they bulbed a little bit. I might have been going a little too fast, right? So might as well do it now. Got a little too much solder on. There we go. Don't want the bridge. Yep, so a little too much solder going. So that's exciting. All right, this is getting a little crazy. Good thing we're doing this in real time so you can kind of see what can happen. So there's just way too much solder right there. So what you can do is, there's a couple of options. I have something called a solder catapult, which we can heat up some of these and then hit the button and it sucks some of the solder out. There we go. Now let's look at these a little bit better. So that's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. I think we're good. All right, so that's how that works. If you don't have like something called a Catapult, what you can do is make sure your pencil is very, very clean, and you can kind of like get some of the solder onto the pencil and kind of like fleck it off. Warning, don't do that too much with components because you might fry them, too much heat. But for something like this, the only thing that can really happen is you can kind of start melting this plastic part here. So should be no big deal. All right, so that's the pin header, and now we're going to install the LCD screen. So for steps 19 through 24, we're going to be soldering components to the bottom side of the board. So keep this in mind. So we're going to be flipping this thing over, and we're going to take the 1x16 male header and solder it to the bottom side of the board. Solder a single pin, then use your fingers to make sure it's properly aligned, blah, blah, blah. Once you're aligned, you can do all the 15 of them. Then what we're going to do is take out the LCD screen and drop it in place. Secure it to the board with 2 screws and spacers. So we'll see what that's like. Let's pop this in. So what we're going to do is flip this around, and this goes in just like so, right? So I know you can't see this, but in the interest of making this not super complicated, what I'm going to do is solder it from the back side here. Make sure it's oriented straight. There we go. So everything's straight. Now I could solder the rest. Yeah, looks good. So let's solder the rest of these. Be ready to rock. Let's make sure that the first one is good. All right, cool. There's number 2, number 3. Whoops, there we go. All right, so now we've got the pin header on, and then it wants us to install the LCD screen. So let's flip this over like so. And it looks like this thing goes on just like so, right? So that's kind of cool. Let's make sure. So take out the LCD screen, drop it into place, secure it to the board with 2 silver screws. See, they're M310s. Looks like those are them. 2 LCD spacers and M3 nuts. So it looks like I have 2 LCD spacers. So let's see what that looks like. Looks like they want it to be here and there. Okay, cool. Use the flush cutters to trim the connectors. So that's what it looks like. So we've got the screw, spacer, and then a nut underneath. So we've got the screw. Let's get that spacer in there. Go. Where's the other screw? There's the other screw. I guess I could hold it with my tweezers. Looks like it's in there. Just gotta get through that. there's a reason why that's not working. There's no hole in the board because the hole is over here. There we go. So it's diagonally. So let's get this in there. Put that through. There we go. And then we need to put a nut on the back side of each one of those. So we can kind of just go like this. And it looks like I need a Phillips. Let's go right there. It's taking forever. Come on, baby. There we go. So that goes on nicely like so. And then we have one more on this side. Let's see here. Oh, it's not completely oriented on there. There we go. All right, let's get that going. Okay, so sorry about the abrupt video stop there. I was having a little difficulty with my cam. And also the audio. It's super, super hot here in Chicago. I think it was almost 100 degrees, like maybe 97, 98. And my air conditioning kicked on. So apologize for the weird volume and funkiness. So I'm going to try to get this a little bit better on the next couple of videos. So if you missed anything, just let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to help you out there. So anyways, CW on, my friends.